On a bright spring morning in 1979, a 6-year-old boy left home for school in New York City. He never made it to the bus stop. No one saw him again. Decades passed. The city moved on. But one mother never did. And buried beneath the city was a secret waiting to be uncovered. This is the story of Etan Patz, the boy who vanished in daylight. Date: May 25, 1979. Location: Soho, Manhattan, NYC. Etan Patz was a curious, sweet 6-year-old boy with bright blue eyes and a mop of blonde hair. He lived in a loft on Prince Street, a trendy corner of Manhattan, with his parents Stan and Julie Patz, and his siblings. He'd begged his mom for weeks to let him walk to the bus stop alone, just 2 blocks away. That morning, she finally said yes. Etan packed his school bag, slung on his little backpack, and set off wearing a black future flight captain cap. He never made it to the school bus. When Etan didn't return from school that afternoon, his mother began to worry. She called the school, but they said Etan hadn't shown up at all. That's when panic set in. She called the police. Then neighbors. Then strangers. By sundown, the entire neighborhood was out searching. Flyers went up. Doors were knocked. Helicopters circled. The FBI got involved. But Etan had vanished without a trace. Etan's disappearance changed America. His face was the first missing child ever featured on a milk carton. He became a symbol of lost innocence, and his case led to National Missing Children's Day being declared on May 25, the day he vanished. His father, a professional photographer, plastered Etan's face across New York every street, every post, every phone booth. Have you seen this child? And yet, there were no credible leads. No witnesses. No body. Nothing. It was as if Etan had been swallowed by the city itself. The first real lead came in the 1980s, when investigators looked into Jose Antonio Ramos, a convicted pedophile. Ramos had dated a woman who once babysat Etan. In a chilling jailhouse interview, Ramos admitted he had taken a boy that matched Etan's description into his apartment the day he vanished. He claimed he let the boy go afterward. He was never charged, but Etan's parents believed he was guilty. They pursued a civil lawsuit in 2004, and Ramos was found civilly liable for Etan's death, though he was never prosecuted criminally. But the case still had no closure. Years passed. Decades. Then in 2012, detectives received a tip that reopened the case. A man named Pedro Hernandez, a former stock boy at a neighborhood bodega, had allegedly confessed to killing a child to his family and pastor. He worked just a block away from Etan's route to the bus stop, in 1979. In April 2012, the FBI tore up the basement of the bodega, digging for evidence. Dust. Debris. A scent of decay. But again, no remains were found. Still, the confession was enough to take a closer look. Pedro Hernandez was soft-spoken, mentally fragile, and had no prior record. But in a video-recorded interview with police, he confessed. I saw the boy standing there. I lured him into the basement with the promise of a soda. Then I choked him. I put him in a box and left it in the alley. He showed detectives where it happened. But the details were inconsistent. He said he left the body in a box, but no such box was ever found. He couldn't identify the exact spot. He had no known connection to Etan. He had mental health issues, including schizophrenia. Was he confessing because he was guilty? Or because he wanted attention, or was manipulated? In 2015, Hernandez was put on trial. Etan's family sat in the courtroom, seeing for the first time the man who might have taken their boy. But the case was shaky. There was no DNA, no body, and no physical evidence, just the confession. The jury couldn't agree. Mistrial. But in 2017, prosecutors tried again. This time, they brought in Hernandez's own words, recorded and repeated. His cellmates testified that he had talked about a child. His pastor confirmed the confession. The second jury found Pedro Hernandez guilty of murder and kidnapping. He was sentenced to 25 years to life. To many, justice had finally been served. But to others, doubts lingered. Was Pedro Hernandez mentally fit to understand what he was saying? Could he have made it up? Was Jose Ramos still the more likely suspect? Even Etan's father, Stan Patz, said, "I don't know what the truth is anymore." But for Etan's mother, the pain had always been simple. He never came home. Etan Patz's story left a legacy. Because of him, Amber Alerts became more widespread. National Missing Children's Day is recognized every May 25. Schools, buses, and police began to take child abductions more seriously. Etan became every parent's nightmare and every community's call to action. A little boy walked out the door and was never seen again. But he changed the world. And though no one can say for certain what happened in that basement, the world still says his name. Etan. What do you believe happened to Etan Patz? Was justice served? Or is the real killer still out there? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe for more heartbreaking cases that demand to be remembered.